Hey friend, Michelle Dennis Evans here. Welcome to Creator to Write, where we turn blank pages into finished work. You'll be encouraged, inspired, and learn practical strategies to move forward with your writing, whether you're just starting out or ready to level up your craft. And if you're looking for ways to support your creative work with an additional income stream, I'd love to chat with you. Please reach out on social. Now for today's episode. Here today, I have the gorgeous, the amazing, the beautiful Marlee Blake, all the way from USA.
Hello.
Tell us a little bit about you.
So I've been writing since I was 10, doing poems and short stories. And it kind of came about out of desperation. I was bullied really heavy as a kid. So my dad is from Guyana, South America, and he pretty much spoke the Queen's English with like a Jamaican accent for most of my life. So his philosophy was, I don't care if you don't speak the Queen's English, you will at least speak good American. So I wasn't allowed to speak in slang. We weren't allowed to walk around like thugs. There was no pulling your pants down and sagging or none of the styles that any of the kids were doing. We were not allowed to do it. You will represent. And at the time, I didn't really understand. I get it now. He had a very strong, like he's passed, he's still with us. He has a very strong philosophy about not allowing superficial things like your skin color or your hair or whether you're a male or female or any of these other things stop you from achieving and being your best self. He came from a third world socialist country. So he's like, look, I'm here. I joined the military. He was doing it at the time on a green card. He served 20 years and 13. He did on a green card. My whole childhood, even now, people think we're just rich, 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 rich. And it's because my dad did not let things stop him, and he would not let things stop us and let us let things stop us. And so because of that, the kids in my school who were not necessarily being brought up the same way, oh, I'm sorry, add to that, I had an amazing evangelist mother. So super Christian and a lot more proper than my peers. And so there was a lot of teasing. It was a really difficult time for me. I was isolated a lot. And so I did not feel safe expressing my feelings to my so-called friends because they had proven that they weren't true friends time and again. I didn't really feel safe expressing it to my parents, not because I didn't trust my parents or whatever, but because I feared the actions that my parents would take in defense of me. So I like I would just keep it to myself, and it all started to come out. I'll never forget the first one. I was riding down the highway with my parents. We were going to San Francisco, and I fell asleep. My parents had a habit of waking us up at 3 o'clock in the morning and saying, "Pack a bag and get in the car in your pajamas." And then we'd go to sleep in the car and wake up at the border of Mexico, or wake up at Six Flags, or wake up in another state. This time, I happened to wake up on the highway, and on out of the right side of the window, there's this mountain right at the road, and straight up was just wildflowers. But out the left side was just the ocean, and it was just vast and deep, and it was super still. The sun was glistening off of it. It was calm, and it felt very clean, if that makes sense. And I think for the first time in my life, it was like a hug from God. And I just took out a pen and paper, and my first poem just poured out of me in that moment. And I've been writing ever since.
So with that, the evangelistic side coming in from your mom, being Christian, do you ever feel
Mhm.
boxed in on as a Christian who writes?
I don't feel boxed in. And that's the crazy thing, right? Because especially the genre, I write romance. And in the romance novel industry, there's a lot of freedom with bedroom activity. Can I say it that way? It's really, really open. There's a lot of exploration into darker themes. There's a lot of, just stuff. And I was told, in order to do this thing well and to make any money at it, I had to write in that vein. Well, I refuse to do that. It is not my job, my desire, nor my goal to get people thinking in those terms when they look at other people, or when they, I don't want to open up the door to lust to somebody else to have to fight with. But I firmly believe that just because we're Christians, it doesn't mean we can't have a good story. And it doesn't mean that it can't have love and passion and excitement and adventure. And we're human, right? Everything that everybody else battles with, we battle with. We just do it with the Creator fighting with us and for us. And so I don't feel boxed in. I feel incredibly honored to be able to tackle some of the harder things that we deal with as Christians and show how through these fiction stories, they're real enough that somebody is living it somewhere. And it is my hope and prayer that when people read these stories, they might see themselves in one of the characters on the page, and they might say, oh my gosh, I know this is a fictional story, but like that's a real scripture and she's talking about a real God. And, if he can show up like this, and then hopefully they can look at some similarities and say, well, yeah, he showed up in my life like that too. He showed up in my life over here like that too. And then maybe they'll start to have hope. Maybe they'll reach out to the God that loves them more than they know. Maybe, I don't know, maybe they're all good and they've been through it and they're just like, yep, that was it. And this is a really good, entertaining story. Either way, boxed in, not at all.
Love that.
Not at all.
I love that you found the freedom to write within boundaries still
Yes.
you're comfortable with, and you don't cross the line. I love that. I have your book on my phone. I've got the digital version and I cannot wait to read it.
Oh.
So looking forward to it. How many books have you got?
I have I have two right now that are out. There is In the Crosshairs, and then there is Collision with Always and Forever. They're two very different types of books. So Collision with Always and Forever, it's a free book. And I'll provide you with the link for that if anybody wants to download it, but you can also buy it for 99 cents off of Amazon. If you get it for free, I get your email address and then I get to send you emails whenever things are coming out new. I have a new book that is getting ready to drop tomorrow, as a matter of fact. It's called Diamond's Law. And this one was a lot harder for me to write because I tackle some pretty dark themes, and there's a lot of redemption in this book, and a lot of healing that takes place. But it centers around a young woman's story from her traumatic birth through being trafficked and rescuing herself and the kids that were stuck with her, through finding love and healing and God, all the way up to where she breaks the cycle and has a baby born of love with her husband. But this is one that, as I'm writing it, I'm bawling like a baby. I'm like, oh my God, that's so sad. Who would do that? And then I'm like, what's wrong with you that this is the story that came to your head? Sometimes my husband's like, who are you talking to? Because he'll hear me go, I know you did not just say that. And I'm steady writing it. And he's like, what?
If only the world could see what goes on in our head.
Oh my gosh, they would run in terror. But these characters, they take on a life for me. And so this one was it was a really hard book to write. It's written in honor of the boys and girls who suffer through this particular childhood. So you can see there is a way out. There are people who care and love you. There are people who will help you heal. There's a God that has always been there. And I try to show in little ways how even when you're victim to somebody else's free will, there's still a God who shows up, and he's always been there. And it's just, yeah, it was a hard write. To say the least.
Well done. Well done for tackling it. And I'm sure
Thank
people
you.
will find healing and hope through reading it. Yeah.
I hope so.
Add it to my list, my big list of books that I'm reading. So tell me, Marlee, how has your personal journey influenced your writing?
Woo, that's a good one. I think just because it started out of desperation and a way to express the feelings that I was having at that time. it just kind of morphed into a way for me for me to be able to say for someone else what they can't say for themselves. Um, I found that happen for me in a lot of the books that I've read. And I don't know, you guys, have you ever read a book and you're like, yeah, exactly that part, all of that, we post on Facebook and all of that part. So and it sometimes bleeds over into the characters that I write. So sometimes my leading man in the book is based on my husband, or the antagonist might be based on my sister. She the little bratty sister that's getting on the nerves in the book might be based off of my sister in our childhood. I might have um, actually, now that I think about it, all of the time, in some way, the hero in the book is based on my husband. Hmm.
There you
Now,
go.
now that I think about it, that's always the case. It's
Readers will
always
get to
based
know
on
your
him.
husband.
They will. The heroine is, especially in the crosshairs, they're very loosely based on me. There's a lot of similarities in spunk, in what they will and will not take. Um, so yeah, the characters tend to take on the personalities of the people in my life to an extent,
So crossover, yeah. Tell
unintentionally sometimes, but
Yes, it comes in. I try and mash
yeah.
people together in my writing because I don't want anyone to see exactly themselves in it. So I'll put
Yes.
3 or 4 people into one.
Like, come on, what were you trying to say about me right here? What was that supposed to mean? No, it's a fictional story. It's not you. The
To me.
character's name is Shane. Calm down. It's okay.
Too funny. So, what's a lie you've had to unlearn to keep writing?
That I'm not talented enough to write a good story that people will actually enjoy. So the very first book I wrote, it's called Not Easily Broken, and I wrote it when I was 16, and I sat on it until I was 25, and then I rewrote it from the perspective of an adult. And then I tried to publish it when I was, I think, 30-ish, around that time. I was just really scared to put it out there. Unlike a lot of the authors, especially now who's using AI to write their books, you give it a basic, and I'm gonna be real honest, you can give AI a basic command and it'll write an entire script. Um, my books are coming from me. A lot of times I have dreams, and my husband says I don't have dreams, I have movies. And the dream will become a storyline, or something in my life will happen, and it'll be one little blip of a thing. And I'm like, what if? And it becomes a whole storyline, or um, random things just that come to my head all of a sudden. I'm like, ooh, that's a storyline or a line in the book, and I'll write it down real quick. Some of it comes to fruition and some of it doesn't. But at the end of the day, it's all coming from me, And so it's a really vulnerable thing, like, to put it out there. Is it going to be good enough? Is it funny? I might think it's funny, but I don't necessarily think I'm a funny person, even though people tend to laugh when I talk. And most of the time, I don't know why they're laughing. Like, I didn't say nothing funny. They're just cracking up. Okay. So am I boring people? Is it droning on? Am I writing well? Is the punctuation right? It's just like there's a lot of all the little things, and then I'm just like, you know what? I'm not good enough to put it out there. I'm not good enough to make a living at it. I don't know, I'm not talented enough. It's okay. I'll write just for me. Um, and I really think those were. I'm gonna go super, super Christian here for a minute, and I'm okay with that if you're okay with that. I really think those were lies the enemy told me to stop me from reaching my destiny. See, everybody has a ministry, right? We all have something that we're called to do. We all have a gift. And I recently heard, if you're wondering about what your gifting is that thing that you can do, that you love to do, that comes super easy for you, that doesn't come super easy for other people, that other people don't love to do.
Mhm.
And your gifting it becomes your ministry if you use it the right way. And so with this, I'm finding that I'm able to tackle these harder stories. I'm able to tackle the dark things that we face as Christians before we become Christians, after we become Christians. I'm able to tackle the sins that we wrestle with, and the battles that we have, and I'm able to speak to those things and bring light to those things in a way that's not preachy, and it's not beating people over the head with the Bible and you have to get saved and you have to repent and you have to accept Jesus. Well, nobody's going to receive that, right? But you can woo them into it. You can ease them into the story. You can ease them into salvation, just like God eased you into it. And I think he used that lie to stop me from reaching so many people on their level, people who want a story, but I don't necessarily want to read about what he did to her after the lights went down. I'm not interested in that, but I love the story. So that's the lie that I had to break. And I still wrestle with it, but it's not gonna win.
Awesome. Awesome. And I actually think I hear that quite a lot. Am I good enough? Oh, my writing's not good enough. Oh, this, and it's just that voice that we need to close down in our head as an author.
Yes.
No, it's not going to be perfect what we write, but it's going to be good enough and enjoyable to read.
I agree. And I think the most important thing, and if you're watching this and you're a writer, I want you to really grab onto this nugget because this is for you. Okay. Not everything is for everybody. Not everything is for everybody. You will say something either in your stories or in person that somebody will not be able to hear. They won't be able to receive it. It'll be true. It'll be right. All miss it altogether, and somebody else will come along and say that same thing and it'll click for them and they'll get it and they'll receive it. The reverse is true. There are going to be people who you will say things to that have been said to them their whole lives by other people and they didn't get it because they couldn't hear it for whatever reason, and you will say it and you will be their person. It'll click for them. They'll get it. And there's a whole lot of people out there that you're their person and they're waiting for you to jump off the log. They're waiting for you to shut down. One of these days you'll get that story. 5 frogs on the log. They're waiting for you to shut down that fear. They're waiting for you to step into your destiny. So just tell it to shut up and write the story, because there's somebody waiting for you. It won't be everybody. Some will, some won't. So what? That doesn't stop you. Don't let it stop you from reaching your destiny. Just saying.
Love it. And if that was for you, rewind and watch that again. So good. Yeah, watch it again.
Yes.
So tell me, what's the highlight been so far in your writing career?
Honestly, this moment. Okay, I have never, ever, 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 ever been interviewed as an honest to goodness professional author before. What?
Yay!
So this month has been kind of like this. I got my first commission check from my books. I'm being interviewed as an author. Like, it's official now. Oh, she's officially an author.
Love it.
This is kind of the highlight reel right here, right now.
Yep, highlight reel. That's what we're all about.
Yeah.
So tell me, what are you working on at the moment?
Right now, I am working on Diamond's Law. That is I'm putting the finishing touches on that one. That's the book that we just spoke about that tackles the whole child trafficking thing.
Yeah. It's going to be out
That
there.
book there.
It'll probably be out by the time this is up. So
probably. So you can still find it. All of my books you'll be able to find on Amazon if you type in my name, Marlee Blake. That's Marlee Blake. And then you'll see in the crosshairs, you'll see Collision with Forever and Always. And very soon you will see Diamond's Law.
Perfect.
Right now, they're all 99 cents. Diamond's Law will come out for 99 cents as well. But that price is not going to last, so don't wait. Jump on it.
You heard it. Grab it now before it goes up. And before we go, do you have any words of wisdom? You've already given lots of nuggets of gold. What about a word of wisdom for somebody who hasn't started writing yet but wants to?
If you haven't started writing yet and you really, really want to write, find yourself a quiet spot and just start writing. It doesn't have to make sense. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be factually correct. It doesn't have to have the right punctuation. Put something down. This is called the first draft, right? Put it down on paper, put it in your computer, however, whatever medium you use to write. Like some people like to actually put pen to paper and some people like to type it out. Some people use Dragon and they speak and it types, speech to text. Whatever it is that you use that works for you to get it out, get it out. Find somebody you trust, somebody you know that loves you, that's never going to intentionally hurt you, that's not going to tell you that you're all so wonderful and great because they're scared of hurting your feelings, but somebody who will lovingly tell you the truth and lovingly help you to draft your story and create something that you can be proud of. If you really want to write, the best thing you can do is start writing, because tomorrow is not promised to any one of us. What you have is right now, and you don't want to wake up and your right now and your tomorrow has stacked up, and now you've got 40, 50, 60 years of tomorrows behind you, and every one of those days is filled with regret that you didn't just take a deep breath, feel the fear, and do it anyway.
Love it. That's gold. Thank you. Thank you for sharing
My
that
pleasure.
with my viewers and with your viewers. And just wanted to remind everyone, you are created to create, and you are designed in the image of an almighty God. So go out there and create. And if writing's your thing, get onto it and start writing today. Thank you for joining me, Marlee. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thank you for having me. It's been such an honor and a pleasure as well.
Thanks for hanging around till the end. Please remember to leave a review if you've enjoyed this podcast and share it with a friend. You never know who is wanting to get those words out of their head and into a book.